Hi, my name is Adam Whitmer from ComplianceCohort.com. This compliance clip is going to talk about the denial reasons of excessive obligation and insufficient income. The question here is, what is the difference between excessive obligations and insufficient income, and when should each of these reasons be used? Now, as a consultant who has looked at many denial notices over the years, I have seen a lot of confusion over these two reasons. The reason of excessive obligation in relationship to income and insufficient income for the amount of credit requested. Right? There's been a lot of confusions, and most financial institutions don't really know when to use which reason because they are both related to debt to income. So sometimes I see both, sometimes I only see one or maybe the other, or at best it's inconsistent in the use. So as far as a background to these reasons, the reason it is tricky is because most vendors include both of these reasons as options on the adverse action notice or denial form that is provided to the customer. They're hard-coded reasons, so you get to pick one or the other or both, but they don't tell you when to use it. Now, the reason that your vendors have included these reasons on their notices and their model forms is because model form C1 that's found in Appendix C to Regulation B includes both of these debt to income denial reasons. So the regulation itself provides two options of excessive obligations in relationship to income and insufficient income for the amount of credit requested. So they both seem to be the same, don't they? Well, I don't believe that's the case. I believe there's a clear distinction between the two. So let's take a look at that. Now, excessive obligations, what I believe is key here is to only use excessive obligations where a borrower's existing debt to income ratio exceeds the bank's standards before adding in the requested credit. So the bottom line is their DTI is already too high before you include the proposed payment. So if their DTI is already 45 and you're going to add in a proposed payment that would put them up to 55 debt to income, then you're going to use the reason of excessive obligations because their DTI is already too high before the proposed payment is added in. Now, when would you use insufficient income? Well, insufficient income should be used, I believe, when the current debt to income ratio is within the bank's standards initially, but when you add in that proposed payment, the debt to income ratio becomes too high. So if your cutoff is 38% on your debt to income ratio and they start at 35, but when you add the proposed payment in, they're now not 35, not 38, which is your max, but 45, then you would use the denial reason of insufficient income. Now, what happens if it is both? Well, then if it starts too high and ends up too high, then you could use both. But what I typically recommend is to be consistent. If you're going to use both reasons, I would want to see a debt to income ratio that calculates the debt to income before the proposed payment's in and after the proposed payment is in, or two DTIs, because before it's in, that would show excessive obligations. After it's included in, that would show insufficient income. And the bottom line is, as an auditor, your auditors are going to want to see a clear paper trail from your denial reasons to your credit file. So your debt to income ratio should relate to the reason. So if you're giving a reason of excessive obligations, I want to see a debt to income ratio that is too high before you add the proposed payment in. Now, there are some potential fair lending implications if you're not being consistent in the way you calculate your DTIs. You could have fair lending criticism, so it is very important to make sure you're getting these reasons consistent. That is the best practice. Now, will you be in trouble if you don't do this? Not necessarily, but it is absolutely the best practice to define a difference between the two, to have correlating debt to income ratios in the file, and to be consistent in how you use them. So that is the bottom line for today. That's all I have for you. Again, my name is Adam Whitmer. I am the host at ComplianceCohort.com. If you're not currently a member of the Compliance Cohort, feel free to take a look at our site. We have a free membership that offers free articles and free videos known as Compliance Clips, just like what you're listening to or watching now. So check us out. We have a lot of free options and free resources. For those of you who are members, as always, thank you. We appreciate you, and that's all I have for today. So have a great day, and until next time, thanks for watching.